Generation X. In general terms, those born between 1965 and 1980. Latchkey kids. Independent. Existentialism. Modern philosophy focusing on personal experience, human ability, and responsibility in an otherwise meaningless universe. We're the cause. This is the effect. We're the Gen Existentialists. This is the Gen Existentialist Podcast. My name is Scott.
And I'm Bunny.
And we are here to wax poetic about Gen Existential things from a Gen Existential point of view, from an extemporaneous point of view. Mm-hmm. What we do here is not planned in any way, shape, or form. So prepare yourselves.
Hey, that's
Buckle
why
in.
I'm going to hit you right away with a...
Oh, not a rapid fire.
That's right, a rapid
right
fire.
Off the
Top
bat.
10.
Oh, my
There we
God.
Go.
All right, do it.
This is all about sports, something you know about that I don't.
Okay.
How about the 1980 Miracle on Ice versus Michael Jordan's Bull Dynasty?
Miracle on Ice.
Okay. Dallas Cowboys of the 90s or Pittsburgh Steelers of the 70s?
Steelers of the 70s.
Billie Jean King or Martina Navratilova?
Billie Jean King.
Pete Rose or Hank Aaron?
Pete Rose.
Magic Johnson or Larry Bird?
Magic.
Mike Tyson or Muhammad Ali?
Ali.
Wayne Gretzky or Mario Lemieux?
Lemieux.
Boston Red Sox or New York Yankees?
Neither one. They both suck.
Ooh, now you got to pick one.
Red Sox.
All right. WWF or WCW?
WCW.
Summer Olympics or Winter Olympics?
Winter Olympics. Absolutely.
So Winter Olympics fan. So you picked WCW over WWF.
Absolutely.
Why is that?
Every time. Because the first wrestling I saw was WCW, actually NWA as World Championship Wrestling, the Saturday shows with Tony Schiavone and David Crockett doing the Crockett Productions thing.
Boy,
and
yeah.
getting to see Ric Flair and the original Horsemen. And the first time I saw the Road Warriors was on that show.
Sure.
And it was filmed in a TV studio in Atlanta where they would have like 20 folding chairs around this wrestling ring. And all of a sudden, Iron Man by Black Sabbath comes on, and these two dudes come out with the face paint and the weird haircuts and these football shoulder pads, and it's just like, what in the hell is this? And they just absolutely destroyed, I think, the Mulkey brothers, Randy and Bill Mulkey.
How could they do that?
It was just amazing. It was so much fun.
Well, good.
And the thing about WWF, even at that time, it was coming out of Bob Backlund to the Iron Sheik with the championship and then the Hulk Hogan years. Mm-hmm. It became such a cartoon. And it was a fun cartoon. Mm-hmm. But if you loved pro wrestling for the old school pro wrestling, you were always going to be a WCW fan.
You're more of a Mike Rotunda guy than an IRS guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So you picked Mario Lemieux. Was that who you picked?
Yeah, Lemieux over
Gretzky. Why is that? I know nothing about hockey, so this is a bone for all you hockey fans out there.
You can't deny the greatness of Gretzky, but Gretzky had, I think, I don't even want to say more of a team around him because he didn't. Like Lemieux had a lot of great folks with him. Actually, one of them, my favorite player of all time, Jaromir Jagr. I just think Lemieux was more fun to watch.
Okay.
More fun to watch play. He was more fluid. I think he had more to his game. And again, it's not taking anything away from Gretzky. This is just, if I were picking, like if we were playing street hockey and they were the two standing there, which one would I pick? I'd pick Lemieux just because I think he'd bring more to the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were a 70s Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
Because the Dallas Cowboys are never going to be my pick for anything ever.
Is it the same reason you picked the Red Sox over New York Yankees?
Yeah, I dislike them both, but given the choice, yeah, I'm going to pick the Steelers.
It's kind of like the evil empires of football and
baseball.
And baseball, okay.
Yeah. Red Sox over the Yankees just because I'm never going to pick the Yankees, and the Red Sox went for so many years without winning. So I'm always kind of sympathetic to that.
And here we lost all of our Boston fans.
Yeah, well, there weren't many of them anyway.
That's
So should I hit you with a rapid fire too? Because
you can do whatever you
I
like.
turned
sir.
this over right to like 90s internet culture.
Oh, sure. Why not?
Okay.
I'm all about the 90s internet culture. That was about the best thing to come out of the 90s, to be honest.
AOL or Prodigy?
Prodigy.
Dial-up or ISDN?
Dial-up.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's hilarious.
GeoCities or AngelFire?
GeoCities.
Yeah. Napster or LimeWire?
LimeWire. I'm a LimeWire boy.
ICQ or Yahoo Messenger?
ICQ.
Yeah. Alta Vista or Ask Jeeves?
Alta Vista.
Really?
Yeah.
I always found Ask Jeeves was a little bit more...
Ask Jeeves was an interesting experiment.
Yeah.
It was like the AI before AI kind of a thing, where you had a personal concierge on the internet. And I think it was a really cute idea, but I think I got better results from Alta Vista.
Okay. HTML frames or Flash intros?
I'm an HTML guy.
Yeah,
I'm old school.
Too. Yeah. You've got mail or 404 error?
That's a really bad comparison.
Yeah.
You got mail is hilarious. The little voice sound.
You've got mail.
You've got mail. Pattern baldness. Yeah.
Web rings or forum boards?
Forums.
Yeah. Tamagotchi forums or Pokemon trading sites?
Oh, jeez. Talk about
Tamagotchi again.
Yeah, talk about something I am not well versed in either one, but yeah, I would have to go Tamagotchi on that one just because I know so little about Pokemon.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Tamagotchi either, to be honest.
No, I don't either. The GeoCities versus AngelFire. You went GeoCities, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't go against that. The Napster and LimeWire, I'm just like neither.
Yeah, he's an honorable boy.
Yeah, I just
I'm an old school pirate.
Pay for your stuff. Pay for your art.
Napster was great too. I will always be a huge fan of Pirate Bay. That's where my heart truly lies, is on the high seas of the Pirate Bay.
Really?
Yeah. Big fan.
Man, crazy.
LimeWire had some really crazy virus stuff on there that you had to watch out for, but so did Napster, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay, so should we jump into our normal fare?
Sure.
And spin Mega Wheel of Magnificent a little bit, see what kind of random action she can give us. And she's spinning. And she's spinning.
Random action.
Random action from Mega Wheel the Magnificent.
It's that point in our lives where we're just looking for any old random action.
Okay, how might we apply Stoic acceptance of fate to the ups and downs of 1980s job markets and recessions?
Wow.
Yeah, this is...
That's a very niche of a niche of a niche topic.
Stepping into a mud puddle here.
Well, in the 80s, I was not in the job market too much. I mean, I had my first job.
End.
Yeah. My first job in the 80s, so I cannot really address the ups and downs of 80s volatile job markets. I think Stoicism is a wonderful idea in general to deal with the ups and downs of life, but when the rubber meets the road, it's a very hard philosophy to adhere to.
You think so?
I do. I think, at least for someone like me, I think I have too many emotions. And I'm too wound up in this material world sometimes that I can't just divorce myself of everything and be a stoic. So, now in the 80s, I was a waiter at a country club. So,
from which many fine stories have been born.
That's true. That place was a treasure trove of mayhem. But, I can't really apply it to the 80s, though. The 80s were my golden years. I mean, I will say it once again. It may have been rough for my parents. I don't know. Because my parents were very good at compartmentalizing and not exposing me to whatever hell they were going through.
Yeah.
They were very much just my parents. So I don't know how bad it was for ordinary people, but for children in preteens and teens, it was a pretty great decade.
Yeah.
So anyway, Stoicism in the 80s for you.
I never viewed it as just a simple acceptance of fate within Stoic philosophy. And I don't think it's a matter of dropping emotions or denying emotions. It's more a matter of moderating and controlling your emotions rather than allowing your emotions to control you. And so if we're talking about the 80s job market recessions, well, we're kind of going through the same kind of stuff right now. So it's just a matter of, yeah, it's going to be frustrating. Yeah, depending on what kind of job you're looking for or what your trade is it going to be tough? Absolutely. But better days will come. Do the work. Get through it. Basically, and that's my advice to anybody in any job.
That's very dad advice there. Are dads naturally bent towards stoicism?
I think in a lot of ways, yeah, because no matter what job you've got, especially if you're a father, you've got kids, you've got a family to provide for, there are a lot of days where you just have to button your lip, buckle up, do the work so that you can come home and have that time with the family. Because you're not doing something you love, you're doing something because you have responsibilities.
Sure.
And that lends itself so much to a more stoic philosophy. Because if you get emotional about it, things are going to run off the rails pretty quick. Sometimes you do have to just go, oh shit, they spilled a bunch of fluid, we just need to clean it up, let's start shoveling. And that's all you can do. That happened to a bunch of us at work yesterday. A guy dumped a load of material. And so a bunch of us we could sit there and complain about it. That's not going to do anything. It's not going to get the stuff picked up. Sometimes all you can do is go, well, shit, get the shovels and the vacuums. Let's get on it.
Sure.
And that's how you get stuff done. So I think stoicism really does apply to a lot of stuff in the workplace, because we've all got stuff. I mean, You've got your own company and you do stuff that you love to do, but I'm sure there are projects sometimes where you go, I would love to be doing anything but this right now.
The wonderful thing about that is when you run your own company is that you can turn around and never take those jobs again. You feel like, I don't want to ever work with this person or this subject matter again, so I won't.
Yeah, but there's,
you got to get through that
sometimes
first
where you go, I just need to get through it and get it done. It's like doctor's appointments. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to go to the doctor. Nobody enjoys going to the doctor. Although I've got a number of doctors that I see that I think are awesome people. And I love going to the appointments just because I get to chat with them. I've got some fantastic doctors. But there's also that thing of, I've got a lot of medical ailments too. So going to the doctor is not something I enjoy. Mm-hmm. I could say, screw it. I'm canceling all my appointments. I'm not doing this anymore. And I'd be dead soon. I can't do that.
That solves all the problems.
It really does, yeah. But, bad things, I wouldn't be able to see my wife anymore. I wouldn't be able, all those things that you lose because of that. So being able to lean on, for me, Buddhism, Stoicism, sometimes you just have to, deep breath, sigh, just do it. Just do the work.
All right.
Because that's the only path forward, really.
Well, that was a terribly niche question.
And yet we turned it into something pretty invigorating and kind of cool from an existential point of view, which is what we do here.
Yeah, that's how it.
So we are spinning Mega Wheel the Magnificent, trying to come up with our next topic. And we are spinning and spinning, and oh my God, it's 4 words. It's a 4-word question. Are you ready for this? Mm-hmm. How boring are you? And I'm showing you the phone just so you see. That's the question that came up.
I am remarkably boring at this age. I'd be perfectly honest with you. If you wanted to, they always talk about, oh no, they're spying on you through your cell phone. Oh no, they're spying on you through your webcam. Well, I'm telling you, there's some CIA agents out there who either have some really fucked up fetishes or they are incredibly bored and wish they could have any other subject than me. I literally, it's like a computer program some days. I get up, I do the same thing every morning. I have the same breakfast. I sit down at the computer. I go through emails. I water my plants. I putter around. I work. I take a walk. I come back. I do some dishes or something. Do a little more work. I cook dinner. We have dinner. We usually go to bed early. That's it. There's no craziness. There's no wild sex parties and incredible neat hobbies that are just whiz banging all around. Not setting off fireworks. That's a rare occasion. So yeah, it's pretty damn dull. How about you?
I am exceedingly boring, or I think I am.
Mm-hmm.
Having said that, though, and I think this is true for you too, but you're kind of sanding off some of the stuff that you do outside of the normal routine. I find myself to be incredibly boring, and yet I do things that every so often I'll tell somebody about it that I don't know very well, and they'll go, "That's like the coolest thing ever. I always wanted to do that."
Sure.
Usually about playing music. Like I always wanted to play something, but I never spent the time on it. I'd love to get up on stage, but I never, so some of the stuff that I do that I consider normal just because I've been doing it so long and that I consider would probably be boring for most people, actually a lot of people find pretty interesting.
Sure.
So that's always, it's nice to have those conversations because I think it makes you reevaluate the stuff you do.
It sure does. I have this conversation with my wife on occasion, or she's a little suspicious even sometimes when I come in and I'm just like, "Oh, I'm so happy. I love you so much. What a great life we have." And she's always like, "Oh, what happened? What happened?" Like, what's going on? Oh, is there another woman? No, it's not like that. But it's just this, when you talk to other people and you realize, wow, this is what we've got is so maintenance free and carefree, and just it's a rhythm, and there's no craziness and there's no annoyances, and
right.
Maybe what I do for a living is like playing with puppets and editing weird horror movie material or whatever, but that's normal to me. But to other people, it's weird.
Fascinating. Yeah.
And sorry, I don't think you working as an accountant is very exciting.
Yeah.
I don't envy your life, but you have stuff to live for too. So don't snuff yourself out yet.
Yeah. And see, I kind of look at the same thing, like folks I work with that do different jobs, like some of them production related jobs or human resources, stuff like that. Stuff that I would never want to do.
Sure.
I've got the job I should have in the industry I work in. I'm a safety guy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm attuned to. And for most people, that's pretty boring. I find it amazing. I love doing it.
Well, that's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those things where you ask, how boring are you? I think probably most people are going to go, yeah, I'm really boring. When in reality, almost all of us, I think, probably do something that other people would look at and go, damn, I wish I could do that.
Sure. That
would be great. So it's kind of a weird question from that perspective. Again, perspective. That's what it is. So I will give Mega Wheel of Magnificent yet another spin. I think I'm going to end on another rapid fire for you too.
Oh no.
I haven't found it yet, but I will. Oh my God. This is a tough one. If you could time travel back to watch one MTV performance live in the studio, which would you pick?
Live in the studio?
Yeah, I don't know how many. I don't know that I ever saw many live in the studio things at all. I mean, I saw a lot of interviews and like people co-hosting 120 Minutes or Headbangers Ball and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, if I could go back and watch MTV at some point in time again, let's reframe it that way. I would go back and watch the Adam Ant concert from like Christmas Eve from back in like 82 or 83 or whatever it was. It was really early because I remember I was little and I was begging my parents to let me stay up so I could watch the Adam Ant concert. And I didn't realize, of course, at the time that meant they had to delay putting out Christmas stuff.
Yeah.
Even longer than they wanted to. They probably wanted to just go to bed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I stayed up until midnight that night and watching an Adam Ant concert, and it was amazing. So that would probably be my answer to that. But
isn't it weird how Adam Ant somehow was so intriguing for so many little kids? And then once you got to like, you hit 13, you're like, oh, like, and never thought about Adam Ant ever again.
See, I can't say that because I still own Adam Ant albums.
Okay. See, I don't.
So that's, that's something that is just formative to my youth, I guess.
Okay. But did you listen to him much more beyond like teen years?
I listened to the best of Adam Ant probably about 5 or 6 years ago. Yeah.
Well, but not since.
No. I don't listen. See. I don't do a lot of albums on repeat. With me, I've got such a huge music collection that it's very rare that I go back and listen to the same album over and over again.
Okay. I just find it that typically when people reference Adam Ant, it's that they liked him when they were little kids.
Sure, yeah.
Not that they were
his prime.
Yeah, not that they were putting his posters up on their wall when they were like 17.
No.
It's always little kids. And I don't know why. It's just a weird thing. If I could time travel back, I don't know that there was a performance that I can think of. But I know that there were a couple points where, like, they had King's X or the guys from Savatage in the studio. I'd like to be there just for that.
Okay.
Just because, a couple of my favorite bands there.
I think that question is aimed more toward that MTV Unplugged era, when they were doing the unplugged crap, which, I could live without.
Yeah.
If I had to go back and see one Unplugged, it would probably be Bjork.
I didn't know Bjork did an Unplugged,
I'm pretty sure
but that would
she
be
did,
amazing.
Yeah.
The Alice in Chains Unplugged was really good.
Okay.
And this might have been VH1, didn't Bowie do a Storytellers concert?
I have no idea.
I think he did, because I think they actually released it, and that would have been fascinating, because I think I've got a copy of that, and none of the songs were ones that you would have expected him to do or wanted him to do. It's kind of a weird live thing where I remember when I first got it, I'm like, really? That's what you picked to do for this set?
It's funny that you mentioned Bowie, because it takes me back to the Nirvana Unplugged that everybody jizzes over.
Yeah.
And he did Man Who Sold the World.
Right.
And then the most ridiculous thing ever, I remember yelling this at the TV when I saw it, was he does the song and he's all, doing his typical, like, looking down at his chest and sensitive and stupid. Yeah, so he does that thing. And then he's like, that was a song by David Bowie. And it's like, no shit, motherfucker. Who the fuck do you think you're talking to? But it's like you realize that so many people were probably like, oh, I love that song that Nirvana did. And it's like, dude, really, but it just, there was a song by David Bowie.
Yeah.
Or his voice. And I was just so indignant and pissed about that. I was like, no shit, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. That's a rude aside.
And that was the best song of that show.
Yeah, it was, by far.
Yeah, I am not.
You didn't like Penny Royalty?
I'm not a Nirvana fan.
Neither am I.
Never was. Just, I appreciate them for what they were, but I don't like them. That's my take. Until we see you or you hear us again, my name is Scott.
And I'm Bunny.
Have a good one.